When you first log into your gateway for the first time and go to the local data page, you're not going to have any local registers set up yet. And so how we go about that is click on the first register number, select a register type, and there's more detail about this in the user guide. Give it a name. You can see I've used that name before. If there's a number on the end of the name, that is going to get auto-incremented when it assigns you create multiple registers. And so we're going to start at register number 1, and let's create 10 new registers. And now if we come back to the tabular list, we see that we now have 10 local registers defined. Data objects are defined in terms of Modbus registers, since this is a Modbus gateway. I'm going to switch over to a different device that I've already configured. Here we have some, again, signed 16-bit registers, which of course are pretty common to Modbus. But if I go look on page 2, I have some character strings. And the gateway will treat this entire series of Modbus registers as one character string, which can be pretty handy especially for generating messages that you ultimately want to send out as a text message. So basically, registers are set up on the local registers page using this setup page. The other thing that we have access to in the local registers is calculate and copy. What this allows you to do is create some simple math algorithms. For example, add register 1 and 2, store the result in 3, and now we've created a simple math operation that is going to continue to operate continuously. The other thing we want to take a look at real quick in terms of just general system setup, the file manager. This is where you go to save your configuration. Any configuration changes that you make are basically temporary, stored in temporary memory inside the gateway. When you want to make those changes permanent, you come over here and select your configuration file and save that configuration. And this is where you can also come to upload configuration files that you might have created in some other gateway if you want to replicate that gateway. Really easy way to essentially copy the entire configuration is save the file, upload it here, and come over here and just load it. Some of the other things you can do from this page, besides creating and loading configuration files, this is where you come to import CSV files to quickly configure Modbus. The other page that's important for general system setup is the network page. This is where you come to give your gateway an IP address. The gateway will support both IPv4 and v6. And come down a little further, this is where you set up the NTP server. It's important that this gets set up and that the time and date are correct, because when the gateway attempts to connect to the Amazon server, if the time is not correct, the SSL certificates will be deemed invalid. And this is also where you have the option of enabling the secure web server, and disabling the standard HTTP server. It's recommended that until you confirm that your certificates are valid and functional, you should enable both. And only after confirming that your certificates are working, then come in and disable HTTP. And again, there's another video entirely dedicated to Modbus, and a few more videos dedicated to the IoT cloud interface for the gateway.